Hi everyone, welcome to this week's karmic reading. This is for those of you who have a divine masculine in a karmic relationship. Welcome if you're joining us for the first time. I'm going to get straight into it. I'm going to have a look at the divine masculine's energy first of all, see how he is. Then we'll look at the karmic's energy and see if things have moved on from the sort of complexities that they've been going through in the last couple of weeks or so. If you haven't looked at the readings for the last couple of weeks, by all means check them out because, you know, it'll put this one into context. But we'll talk about it a bit as we go along. So let's get started. Spirit, we're looking at the divine masculine, please. How is he feel? Ooh. Okay, they want me to take those two. Didn't even get the words out. We have daughter value. And we have, sorry, the light's shining on that, Archangel Metatron. Okay. I'm going to get the cards as usual and then we'll come back to them. How else is the divine masculine feeling, please? How else is the divine masculine feeling, please? Okay. So, the divine masculine at the moment is sorting out a lot of issues around practicalities. There's a lot of issues around finances. They've just said the word settlements to me. So there's some sort of settlement issue going on, whether it's property, whether it's children, anything that have been jointly purchased between him and the karmic. By the way, the divine masculine can also be a female. These readings aren't gender specific, so please just take the energy from them if it resonates with you. So as we see here, he's looking for the best way forward. He's looking for, you know, the final steps in sorting out his current situation, but it's definitely involving coming out of it in the best way possible for all concerned. There's definitely a financial leaning here, but he's using his intuition a lot. We have Archangel Metatron here, very much working with his third eye, working with his intuition, you know, being open to receiving this inner guidance from spirit. He may not be consciously aware that that's what he's doing, but what he's doing is following this gut instinct that he has, which is obviously his intuition, to guide him through this situation. He's particularly reliant on that because we know that he, you know, for a very long time now, he's felt very trapped by his situation. But he knows that if they've just said the word canny, he knows if he's canny, if he's clever, that, you know, if he follows his intuition, follows his heart, he will escape this feeling. The reason I say that is because it came up with the victory card. So he knows, he's using his intuition. He knows that he's close to finding a solution to this situation. He's just got that inner, you know when you get that inner feeling, that real gut instinct. He knows that this tied up feeling that he's had for such a long time, the feeling of being stuck, the feeling of not being able to move forward, he knows he's on his way to victory. He feels it, you know. And actually that ties in with the readings we've had in the last couple of weeks because, you know, he's been very focused. He's been, you know, able to share his feelings, share his plans, his actions with people around him. Now, they haven't received that information very well, as we saw in the last 2 weeks' readings. But even so, he's sticking with his gut instinct, he's sticking with that intuition, and he knows that it's only a matter of time before he escapes this situation into victory. So it's good to know that regardless of the backlash that he's had from members of the community, because, you know, last week we felt that he had taken the brunt of the backlash from people around him. while the karmic sat back and pretended to be the innocent party. So it's good to see that he's maintaining that strength, he's pushing forward, he's using his intuition, he's really tuning into his inner self in order to sort this situation out and finally move towards the victory that he sees. Let's just see what's happening with the karmic. How is the karmic feeling this week, please? Oop. Okay, we have the base chakra. So the karmic looks as though she's feeling particularly grounded. As I say, it could be, the karmic could be a she, could be a he, doesn't matter. It's the energy we're looking at. I just use she and he because that's what comes to me. But yeah, so she's got her feet on the ground this week. She's feeling pretty grounded, but interesting that this has come up. Now, I'm going to take the rest of the cards before I look at this, because we see the karmic feeling grounded, but we see some conflict, some deflate. Do you know, I can never say that. I always say conflict and deflate. Anyway, there's something is coming up here that is not making the karmic happy. Let's see what the other cards are. Thank you. Patience. Okay. Light. Yeah, do you know, it's almost like there's a bit of a mirror situation going on. I don't mean in terms of like the divine feminine, divine masculine mirror. What I'm meaning is that if you look at the way these cards have presented themselves here, we have her feeling very grounded. And up here we have the divine masculine working on the practical issues. So, you know, they're both on the same sort of, well, singing from the same hymn sheet, really. They're both trying to be grounded, sort out the practicalities of this situation. Now I see this in context. I see that this defeat card is more about her being ready to just leave this situation, you know? She just wants to move on with her life. You know, there may have been some arguments along the way. Well, we know there have been in recent weeks, but she just wants it all to be over now. She's fed up with the toing and froing, with the comments from the people around them. She just wants to make her own path. And she's having to be very patient, because while the divine masculine has been feeling stuck, we've got the karmic also almost like breathing the same energy, you know? She now feels stuck in this situation, which is why she's ready to walk. Yeah, drawing my attention to the figures in the back of this picture. I don't know how clearly you can see them. Can you see like there's a special word for that, isn't it? When it's carved into stone. But anyway, there are like pictures of figures running up the staircase, you know? And it's almost like she's really wanting to escape this situation, to, you know, charge forward, to run up that staircase. But at the moment, because things are still being sorted out, she's feeling the burden of it all. So she's having to be very, very patient. But she knows, and this is why I say it sort of mirrors, you know, their mood mirrors each other. And I like that because it shows that they're both now in the same place. They're both ready to go their separate ways, but it's not uneven as it was before. Because look, she wants to head towards the brightness in her life. She wants to bring more light into her life. She's fed up feeling weighed down. She wants to feel lighter again. She's ready. It's like she's accepted that this relationship is completely over now. And, you know, whereas the divine masculine, you know, we see here, he wants to head towards his victory. She wants to head towards her victory too, you know? They're very, very similar cards here. I don't even think, you know, because normally I would have, at this stage, I'd have a look at the joint energy between them. I will look to see if there's any issues that have come up this week, because let's see if there's any issues that they've had to deal with. And, you know, as I say, I'm not going to go through and see their joint energy because their energy looks very similar from the cards we've already seen. So Spirit, let's see, are there any issues that have come up this week that are different to before? Oh, sorry. Let me just go for that again. Spirit, I'm unclear. Thank you. We have, this is interesting because we've seen that a lot in the early karmic readings I did. We saw this a lot because, you know, these two, the divine masculine and the karmic, have been wearing a mask all the way through this relationship. They presented a very glittery golden front to everybody else. But now, here we are being shown the mask again. So, do we have some pretending going on this week, Spirit? We're going to need more information on that. We don't know whether we're having some pretending or whether the mask is slipping. We'll see in a moment when we clarify. What else has been coming up this week? What are they dealing with? They've just said the word aftermath. Yes. You see, again, we have the community card. I'm going to deal with these now because Spirit have just said aftermath. And what that actually means in this context is they are now dealing with the aftermath of wearing a mask for so long in front of the people around them. So, you know, like we said, all the way through this relationship, they've been pretending. They've been, you know, the karmic felt that it was going to be there forever, but she knew deep down that actually this wasn't a love connection. She may not have known it was a karmic connection, but, you know, she and the divine masculine have had lessons to learn in this relationship. But, of course, there's been a price to pay here because they presented that front to everybody else, all her friends, their family, just people generally in the community. And now they're having to deal with the fallout of that, as Spirit said, the aftermath, because, you know, people, as we saw last week, they were not happy about how things are falling apart in this relationship. When I say they, I mean people in the community. And if they've been led to believe that everything's shiny, golden and perfect for a long time, and then suddenly there's this announcement that we're going our separate ways, the community are shocked. So, you know, they are dealing, this week, the divine masculine and the karmic have had to deal with the aftermath of pretending for such a long time. Is there anything else, Spirit, you want to show us? Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of sensitivities going around. You know, it's been quite an emotional time. We have the yin energy here, which is very feminine, very sort of soft. You know, it's left them feeling quite vulnerable, this situation, because they've just said losing face. They feel like they've lost face in front of the community. But they both know, look, that it's time to move on. And, you know, I always see with this boat, I mean, look how tranquil these waters are. You know, it's about getting these emotions calm. And in order to find that calmness, they have to move forward. They're not looking behind through the binoculars here. Can you see that in the light? Yeah. There's some binoculars on the back of the boat if you can't see it very clearly. But they're following, this lady, look, is looking at the arrow. They're moving forward. So, you know, they've had to get through some emotional issues regarding the backlash from this community this week, you know? And that can't have been easy for anybody, to be honest. Let's just get some more information about what is going to happen. No, they've just said get some more information on those cards. So let's just go across the four and then we'll do what happens next. Okay, so what's happening with the... Oh, thank you. Yeah, again, there's these practicalities. The Pentacles, always about things that are practical. We've seen this with the early cards. They're having to be very grounded, but they're having to make choices. They know which way they're going. There may have been some indecision along the way. They may have sort of, you know, you can see him. It's almost like, you know, let's just see what happens, sort of energy that has been around. But I do get the feeling that this week they have had to actually be very honest and be very clear about the direction that they're going in, because this mask has actually come off, and that's what they're dealing with. Oop. Yeah. They've had to be clear that a major change is coming. You know, they've had to tell people this is the end of this relationship, you know. The World card came out with that, which is incredibly powerful because these are two major arcanas, you know, and in my mind, I mean, they always feel really powerful, these two cards. And, you know, they've had to be, whereas they've been sort of dilly-dallying about for a long time in not telling the community, they've had to be very, very clear. Because if they want what they really want from this world, if they want true love, if they want their true connections, and they want their reward for work they've put in the past, they've had to be honest with the people around them. And it hasn't been easy. Again, please, Spirit. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Look, another major arcana. Very powerful energies around this week. So, you know, breaking down the old in order to let in the new. That's exactly what we were just saying with the World card. If you want the rewards of all the work you've put in the past, but you want to come out of it with the things that you truly desire, then other things have got to fall down first. And that is what they've been explaining to the people around them in the last few weeks. And, you know, that is why, as we see it linking with this very calm sea here, the Tower card is not always, it can be a destructive card, but it's not always. It's usually about clearing the path for something better. And here we see them heading towards something better. There's more tranquility here. The emotional stuff is over and done with. They've had to go through this emotional stuff, you know, in order to complete that cycle, in order to get the rewards for having gone through the emotional stuff, if you know what I mean. So they've just said what goes around comes around, but it's not in that, I usually say that in quite a negative way, but not today. It literally is describing the cycle. Interesting. Right. Let's just have a quick look at the way forward. Okay. Remember, we're working in divine timing, everybody. Very often I see readings, you know, on the on lots of people's channels, to be honest, and, you know, including my own, and it feels like we're repeating the same messages, and we do get comments sometimes about, oh, you know, I keep hearing it, but when's it going to happen? I'm in the same boat, literally the boat. You know, yeah, it's been a long journey, but we are in divine timing. So, you know, it just feels like we're getting so close to it, though. As I was saying that, they've thrown out another Tower card. So, you know, things had to break down, as we said before the new peaceful boat situation could come. You know what I mean? Before the tranquility could come, the Tower moment had to come. So in terms of moving forward, that's going to be the next thing. You're going to hear that this is completely broken down, and, you know, your divine masculine is leaving this situation. Yeah, Nine of Pentacles. There's been lessons learned. There have been lessons learned. There's been practical lessons learned from this situation, as well as all the emotional lessons that have had to be learned. There's also a bit about, you know, the fact that that's come up with the Death card. It almost feels like, you know, Spirit is saying these lessons had to be learned in order for this major change to happen. You know, this is about gathering the knowledge to be able to move forward in a more positive way. So, you know, those lessons had to be gone through. They had to all break down in order to be able to make this life change. Because, you know, if your divine masculine wasn't ready for your relationship, divine femme, that is why he hasn't been brought forward to you. And equally, you know, while he's been absent, for those of you obviously whose divine masculine is absent at the moment, it's given the divine feminine time to go through their own challenges, you know, in order to grow, to be able to be ready for union. What else is coming, Spirit? What else? What else, please? What's the next action from the divine masculine? Thank you. Yeah, he's got decisions to make. So, you know, he will, I think I said last week, don't assume that he'll walk straight out of this household into your household, because there will be some time where he'll need some resting time, some recovery time, some time to make his next decision. Now, although in his heart he knows exactly what he wants, because he needs that recovery time, there will be decisions around that to make. What else, please? Oop. What else? What are the next steps? What about after this decision? Yeah. So once he's had, you know, his time to assess all the lessons that he's been learning here, he will then make his decision about his way forward, and he will take his leap of faith. So, you know, he's ready to do it. He knows what he wants, but he will need that little bit of time in between just to get his act together, because he'll also be anxious about approaching you, divine femme. For those of you that aren't in contact, it'll take a lot of courage for him to come back to you, especially after a karmic relationship. Can we have a couple more cards down here, please, Spirit? I feel we've got unfinished stories here. Oh, I'm just dropping everything. Sorry. Yeah, look, Four of Swords. It says that he won't be in his resting time. They're giving us it in reverse. So he won't be in his resting time for a long time, but some recovery time is needed. Okay. So we see him there resting and relaxing, but it is in reverse, which tells us that it's not going to happen for, you know, forever. Yeah. He's trying to find the best way forward. He's trying to find the action to take that will lead him to the light rather than the darkness. So he doesn't want to mess up his contact with you. So he is going to be very considered in the way that he, you know, decides what action that's going to be. You know, he's maybe procrastinating a bit. But he is looking for that positive way forward. He's not quite sure how to do it at the moment. And that's why he needs that healing time, because his head is still a bit scrambled, to be honest. What then, please, Spirit? What then, please? Yeah, I keep saying it. He's going to need that time on his own. So he will spend that time trying to figure out the best way. He knows what he wants. I'm very clear about that. He knows what he wants, but he's going to need that healing time. I keep saying it. I'm going to stop saying it because I've said it too many times now. But, you know, he will need that time. Okay, after he's had that time, Spirit, what then? After he's had that time, what then? Two of Wands again. So, you know, this is when he will take that action. This is when he will sort of, it'll be more considered. When we saw up here, the Two of Swords, this is about him trying to make a decision, but he was blindfolded here. You know, he's not making the best sort of decision. He's not thinking through carefully, because he's just like, He doesn't want to make the wrong decision, as I said before. He doesn't want to just sort of arrive on your doorstep without any consideration, because he doesn't want to mess it up. He doesn't want it to be chaotic. He wants it to be, I keep saying the word considered. Why do I keep saying that word? But that is the word they keep telling me. You know, he is going to find his way forward, but we have the 3 of Wands and we have the 2 of Wands, look. So he is going to find that way forward. He will be in a better position to decide what action to take. For some of you, he may be travelling towards you. Here again, we have a boat connection, which is quite interesting. For some of you, you know, your divine masculine may live a distance away. They may be travelling to see you, but they will definitely make a decision. The lovely thing about Wands is that they are cards of action. So whereas over here, he was sort of lashing about thinking, what shall I do? What shall I do? What shall I do? Well, do you know what? I better be a hermit for a while because I don't know what to do. Here, he's come out of his hermit phase and he's ready to make a considered, again, we have that word, a considered decision. What will be the ultimate outcome, please? What will be the ultimate outcome of that decision? What will he do, please? What will spirit, what will the divine masculine do? I don't think we need half a pack of cards, really. Which one are we doing? We're doing the bottom one, okay. He's going to move forward. You know, he at the moment, when he comes to making that decision, what's going to make him move forward is that he doesn't like feeling left out in the cold. He has concerns that you're going to be with somebody else, that you're not going to be interested in him, that you're going to reject him. And that is what is sort of making him procrastinate a bit, because he's overthinking the issue rather than stepping forward. He's worried that you're going to reject him. But what are we going to do with that fear, Spirit? Where does that leave us? What's he going to do? What's the divine masculine going to do? And again, Spirit, please. Thank you. Yeah, you see. He sees you as incredibly intuitive. He sees you as a magical creature almost. You know, the high priestess knows what's going on, is very intuitive. And remember up here, he was very in tune with his intuition, which is interesting. But he knows that you're not going to stand any messing, basically. So, you know, he's scared that you'll reject him. He sees you as a powerful person. He feels that, you know, you're not like anybody else he's come across, Divine Femme. He feels that you're somebody that can almost like see straight through him. He knows that he can't mess you about, basically, as I just said. And this is why, you know, in some ways, they've just said intimidating. There are times when he feels intimidated by you because of the feelings that you invoke in him. So this is why it's you know, tricky for him. But how's he going to get past this, Spirit, please? What's this about? What's the outcome here? What's the outcome here, please? Page of Wands, yeah. So you are going to get some sort of message. Pages tend to be around messages, but interestingly, you know, he is going to he's going to overcome some of this fear. We've seen this in previous readings. He is going to take action towards messaging you, to being in contact. It may not be the contact that you necessarily want, you know, and I've said this in previous readings, we keep seeing it, that, you know, it may be a bit in and out in terms of energy, or it may be that it's very light and jolly, whereas you just want to discuss feelings. He maybe doesn't. So Yeah, but there's definitely going to be some contact here. Yeah, because look, this is what he wants. He wants his 10 of Cups. I love the 10 of Cups. It's a beautiful card because it's a card full of love, full of energy, full of emotion. It's about, you know, that total bliss, the total loving connections, the total loving family life. You know, it's not like the security and the groundedness of the 10 of Pentacles, but it is full of love. It's blissful is the best way to describe it. So that's what he wants from you. So for some of you, he may well message you and tell you that's what he wants. For others, it'll be more sort of like cautious in the way that he approaches you, because he won't want to risk this rejection. So although he, you know, don't be fooled. If he comes to you with this Page of Wands energy where he's very light and he's very jokey and pretending the karmic thing never ever happened, you know, don't be too quick to be angry, because underneath all that, what he really wants is this commitment. But he's afraid that you're going to reject him. And there's a bit of him that's relying on your high priestess powers. There's a bit of him that thinks, oh, I'll go in all jokey, but she'll know what I mean, you know? So just be mindful of that, you know, when you get this message, because a message is definitely coming, Divine Femmes. I just realised I put those tarot cards upside down, and that's really weird. Right. Can we have just a couple of Moonology to finish this off, please, Spirit? For the Divine Femme, can we have messages for the Divine Femme, please? Again, we see this card. This came up a couple of weeks ago. So your dreams need a practical plan. So if you're feeling that this reading resonates with you, if you're feeling that your Divine Masculine is close to coming back into your life, then you need to think about how you're going to receive your Divine Masculine. How is that going to be? Yeah, it's time to take action. So if there's things in your life that still need sorting out, Divine Femmes, you know, if there's something that's going to get in the way of your union, you know, if you're not living in sort of the place that you want to be living in and it's practical for you to make a move, then maybe it's time to look at whether that's possible, you know. If your Divine Masculine, for example, is working a long distance away, or if you're working a long distance away, that's maybe what you need to think through. How is that going to practically work? And, you know, by action, it may be that you're just looking on sites for different accommodation that brings you closer together, or, you know what will resonate with your situation. But they're almost saying to you here, get ready, you know? Well, they're saying to all of us, because I'm also a Divine Feminine. So, do we have one more, please? We do. Okay. Which one was it? It was that one, was it? Okay. Yeah, they're saying look at the bigger picture. You know, don't forget to look at all the options around this situation. You know, they don't want you to get too absorbed in the detail, even though they're saying to you have a plan, start looking at, you know, what actions might need to be taken along the way. They're saying make sure you look at the bigger picture. It may be that your Divine Masculine still has responsibilities connected with this karmic relationship. It doesn't mean he still has a connection necessarily with the karmic in a relationship. What I mean is, you know, if there's children involved, or if they're still sorting out property sales, etc., etc., you know, this is the thing you need to look at. It may not be as straightforward as the plans that you're perhaps making. So they just want you to bear that in mind, Divine Femmes. Right, I am going to leave it there. I don't know how long that video is. It felt like a long one today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and comment. Thank you to those of you who always comment on my videos. It's so lovely. I am intending to try and get some more videos out to you, because at the moment I'm just doing this one a week and it's not really enough. So I'm still managing my health issues. So yeah. We're getting there though. So have a beautiful week, everyone, and we will catch up really, really soon. Take care. Bye for now.